Hi, I'm James Braden, and I want to welcome you to my brand new YouTube channel, Wood Fire Smoke, a channel where we're going to focus on cooking different foods with the elements of wood, fire, and smoke. The high emphasis on barbecue and grilling. We're not just going to be doing barbecue and grilling. We'll be good, maybe do some baking, some other things along the way. I'm going to share some recipes with you that I've had a great deal of success with. I'm not here to train any pit masters or maybe lead you to a championship barbecue run, but maybe, just maybe, I can make you the king of the cul-de-sac. Today, we're cooking pork spare ribs. These spare ribs are just a normal pack of spare ribs that you can get at your local Costco. You can get them from a butcher if you want to, but I found out that the 3-pack that comes from Costco actually works really well in feeding our group of family anyway. I mean, these are pretty big racks of ribs and they feed a lot of people. In preparing your spare ribs, there's a membrane that's on the back. You can leave this on and cut a cross hatch so the season can get through, but I personally myself like to take a butter knife, come in through one of the ribs. Let's see, I got this backwards. Let's flip her around here. Go underneath the skin, raise it up. This is something that you need to get a paper towel. And this is something that sometimes you get lucky, it comes off the first time. Here we go. Looks like we may have that happening right now. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes it may take a little bit more practice, but that came off beautifully. Now that we've removed the membrane, we want to go through and we want to check these ribs out and look for any kind of things that may burn, and we're going to trim those off. Square them up, make them look really nice. Ow, something's biting me here. And especially things like this. This is a bone shard. This is where the butcher got into one of the ribs. And this is not something you would want to bite into or you'd want any of your guests biting into. So we're going to take a sharp knife and we're going to cut that off and get rid of it. There we go. And these ribs are actually looking really nice. There may be a little bit of fat. You don't have to do this. It's just I don't like a real fatty bite, so I like to take some of it off there. Fat is flavor, so you want to leave as much of it on there as you can, as long as it's not the gross kind of fat. But this fat right here is not too bad. I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. We're going to take some of it off. And now I'm pretty happy with these. Sometimes there can be a flap right here on the back. None of my others have that, or I'll show you the butcher. These were butchered very well. So there'll be a flap on the back here, and you may want to take that off. Just raise it up and trim it off. But as you can see this line right here, this is where that flap would normally be. You can take it off, or like in our case, the butchers take it off. Let's square this up here just so we keep these looking uniform. And now let's season. I found out that normally I will make my own rub, but I have fallen in love with Meat Church rubs. I still do make my own, but in this case today, this honey hog barbecue rub and their gospel all-purpose rub make for a really nice conversation. I mean, combination. First off, what we're going to do is we're going to start. You want to start shaking up high, but we're going to go with the gospel rub because the gospel is a more of a savory rub. So we want to put that down first, and you want to go pretty liberal with it. You don't have to get crazy. This is going to be the lighter rub that we put on it. Hold it up high so you don't get any clumps or any places that are heavier than the others. Well, this is coming out pretty well. These guys made a really good, this is a nice shaker. Pat that in. You don't want to rub it in. Just pat it in, or you can let it set for about 15 minutes. One other thing, you want to start with the top side down. The top side is going to be your presentation side. So you want to put your rub on the bottom first, and then when you flip it over, you want to keep your top side as pretty as possible. So it looks good for your guests. But now we're going to follow up the Holy Cow rub with the Honey Hog Barbecue rub, which is a sweet rub. It's got some honey powder in it, which I think is amazing with barbecue. I mean, I absolutely love it. Got some big chunks coming out of there. Have to rub those out a little bit. Cover all the meat that's showing. Then we're going to flip it over and repeat. Come in with the gospel for the savory. Come up high. Don't put too much of this on there. The star of this is going to be that honey hog. That's just for that savory note. Now here comes the boom, the sweet honey hog rub, which is fantastic in my opinion. I absolutely love this stuff. Give it a good cover. Make sure, again, don't be shy. Put it on there, pat it in. We're going to get this on the smoker. So I'm going to put it on at 275 on my custom built Stumpville smoker that was built by Matt Goss and designed by Stump McDowell, which is a gravity fed smoker that is basically a set it and forget it. I'm going to do another video on this sooner or later. May even have Stump up here himself to walk us through and just show you some of the intricacies of it. But right now, let's get these ribs on. There we go. Another little tip is when you put your ribs on, you want to take them and push them together. That helps keep them plumped up. They're not all spread out, and it also helps them cook a little more evenly. So we got our ribs on, all set. We'll check back here in a couple hours and see where we're at. All right, it's been about 2 hours now, so it's time to take a look at them and see where we're at on color and temperature-wise. Oh yeah, this looks really nice here. The bark is set really nicely on them. I think you can get a look at them there. I hope so anyway. I'm going to spritz them with 50% water and 50% apple juice. The color on these is almost where I want them. I'm going to leave them in here for just a little longer, and then it'll be we're getting pretty close to time to wrap, I believe. Okay. It's been 30 more minutes. It's time for us to come back and take a check on the ribs and see exactly where they're at. Oh yeah. They've got that nice burgundy color that I'm looking for. And as you can see, they're starting to get some pullback from the bones. So it is time to wrap. Let's get these off. Set them here. What we're going to do is take a little brown sugar. Not too much. Take some pads of butter. Butter is always good on anything. Steaks, barbecue, whatever. It doesn't matter. Butter, butter, butter. And you don't have to be shy with it. Then we're going to take a little honey. Squeeze that on there. You can put some hot sauce on here now if you want to, whatever you like to do. Just going to keep it simple today and just leave it as it is right here. Flip your ribs over. And if you wanted, you could put some more, repeat the process on the top here. But that's not something that I ever really do. So I think we'll be fine today just like this. You'll take heavy duty aluminum wrap, double lined, because we don't want those rib bones tearing through. Wrap it up tight. You want to keep all that moisture in there. You can pour a little juice in there if you want to. I don't think we're going to need that today. So I'm just going to go with what we've got right here. And repeat for the rest of them. All right, it's been about an hour now since we wrapped the ribs, so it's time for us to pull them out and take a look at them and see where we're at. Oh yeah, I could tell by the bend of these ribs. We are about done, if not right there. Let's take a look and see. Yeah, we got a nice pullback. Oh, those look great. Let's flip them over. Let's put a little glaze on them. And glaze is just what I use. It's just like my favorite watered down sauce. You don't even have to really do these. You can just put these back in the smoker, tighten them up, or however you want to do it. I like to glaze them. I think it makes them pretty. Makes for a nice presentation. Alright, let's make a boat so you don't lose any of that juice. I like to try to keep my new smoker clean if I possibly can. Let's put them back in there. Hope my bald spot's not blinding the camera. Go one more time. Oh, it's a pretty rack of ribs. Glaze them up. And I'm going to set this bowl of sauce in the smoker. Now the reason I'm going to do that is because if anybody wants a little dipping sauce, you want to make sure that you serve the sauce warm. Nobody wants cold barbecue sauce with any barbecue that they're going to have. So take that a little extra minute, put it in the smoker, warm it up, and everybody's going to appreciate you for it. There we go. Let's give them about 10 or 15 minutes and we'll be ready to eat. We're going to pick up here. Had a little bit of audio trouble, but I'm going to go back and do a little bit of a voiceover. This is about 15 minutes after I had put the ribs in, glazed them. So put them back in the smoker to let them tack up. I wanted that sauce to firm up on the ribs. And as you can see, they are ready to pull. When it comes time to cut your ribs, you can cut them from face up if you like, but what I like to do is flip the ribs over face side down to where you can see between the ribs exactly where it is that you want to cut the rib. The bones are a lot easier to find. And when you cut the rib, you want to cut in between each bone right in the middle so that you have good meat bite on either side of the bone. It just makes for a better bite for your guests. And as the cook, you get to pick which rib you want. I like to pick mine right out of the middle of the ribs. Usually that's the meatiest one. As you see there, it's still juicy. It's got nice color to it, beautiful smoke ring. It's a really good rib.